Welcome back to Chopper Test Kitchen. This is episode number 2. We're doing things a little different this week. Instead of Jimmy picking what I'm going to make, we're leaving it up to the Now Boarding Radio listeners. So every other week, if you are a listener, if you're not and you're watching this, you should be. Go subscribe to their podcast, Now Boarding Radio. But Jimmy, Dan, and Matt, I guess, I don't know if he's still on the show or not, but anyway, those guys will pick 5 options for you to vote on, and the winner is what I make for that episode. So this week we have tacos, ribs, poutine, shawarma, and blood sausage. So let's see what you guys voted on. So, shawarma. I'm not really surprised. I think maybe Jimmy had a hand in this because I think he was leaning towards that as the option. But either way, that's what we're going to be making this episode. I've never had it before. I only really know about it from the Avengers. So it's going to be interesting to see what we end up with. But anyway, yeah, I need to go do my research, do some grocery shopping, and try to make Tony Stark proud. I love you 3000. First things first, we need to start with our old friend, the chicken thigh. We're going to make a yogurt-based marinade. And that starts with 2 cups of Greek yogurt, half a cup of olive oil, 1 teaspoon each ground sumac, cumin, coriander, cinnamon, and allspice. Same amounts salt and fresh ground black pepper. 8 cloves of crushed garlic. And we're going to grate in about half of this onion. Give this all a good mix. And in goes about 1.5 pounds of our chicken thighs. Make sure everybody's coated. And we're going to cover this. It's going to go in the fridge for 24 hours. And while our chicken's marinating, we have 2 sauces, that we can get ready to go. The first one is a tahini. Second one is tzatziki. We're going to start with the tahini because it's pretty simple. It's only 2 ingredients. So we've got a cup, wow, close up, 1.5 cups of sesame seeds. And we're going to process these in the food processor until we get a little powder. And then we're going to slowly drizzle in 3 or 4-ish tablespoons of sesame oil. I'm not really sure how much we're going to need, but we're just going to keep going until we get the consistency that we want. If you want it a little thicker, you use a little less. Thinner, you can use a little bit more. So now that we've got our powder, I'm going to start drizzling in some of the oil until we get the consistency that we're looking for. And how about that ring light, by the way? Production value of this show is just off the charts. All right, the tahini's done. Next up, we've got tzatziki. And that starts with a cup of Greek yogurt. We're going to add 2 cloves of crushed garlic, juice of 1 lemon. Don't forget to pick out the seeds that you dropped in there. And that was a pretty big lemon, so I'm gonna hold off on the second half for now. If we need it later, we can always add a little bit more. Next up, we're gonna do about a 1/4 cup of fresh dill. Next up, 1 cucumber that we're gonna seed and dice pretty fine. This guy's pretty big too, so we're just gonna kind of eyeball it. If you want more cucumber, add more, but we'll see where we end up. So this is after only about a 1/4 of that cucumber. I think it looks pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and season this, taste it, and then see if we need to add anything else. So we're just gonna add a pinch of salt and some fresh black pepper and mix. So I think that looks pretty good. It tastes pretty good. I just added a little bit more salt, but I think this is ready to go. But when you're making it, play with the proportions, do whatever you like. Okay, so our chicken is almost done marinating. The tahini is all set, the tzatziki is all set. We need to make one more thing before we can get the chicken cooking and then finally eat. That is a tabbouleh salad, and that's gonna start with 3/4 of a pound of cherry tomatoes. So we've got our tomatoes sliced. Now what we're gonna do is sprinkle them with some salt and place them over a fine mesh sieve. So what we want to do here is capture all that moisture that the salt is pulling out of the tomatoes, because we're going to use that to cook the last ingredient of this tabbouleh salad, which is bulgur wheat. So we're going to let this guy sit for a while. Hopefully we'll get about a 1/4 of a cup of juice out of there, and then we'll use that to cook the wheat. So while our tomatoes are juicing, we can cut up the rest of the salad, which is going to consist of the other half of our cucumber from the tahini, or tzatziki. Cucumber's done. I apologize, I'm running out of bowls, so this is the best I can do at the moment. To that, we're gonna add the technical term, which is a dash of allspice, cumin, coriander, and cinnamon. We're also going to add in 2 green onions. We've got the juice of the other half of our lemon from the tzatziki sauce. No seeds this time. I'm gonna add just a little bit of olive oil, black pepper, I'm gonna add salt, not as much as you would think to add because we already salted the tomatoes, so just a little pinch there. And we're gonna chop up a few mint leaves. And the last thing that I almost forgot is parsley. Now all we need to do is cook the bulgur wheat, add it in here, and then mix it up. So it looks like our tomatoes are done. We only got about 1/8 of a cup of juice here. Not the end of the world. We can just use water for the rest. So I'm gonna go ahead, add the tomatoes, And I'm gonna fill this up the rest of the way to the 1/4 cup mark with water. Bring that to a boil. I'm gonna add that to a 1/4 cup of bulgur wheat, and then let that sit for an hour, and then it's done. Then we can throw it in the salad. And it spins around.
Wait, am I messing it up because I'm covering that? Do you have to start over?
Yes. Okay, so we're almost there. We've got everything ready to go. The tahini, the tzatziki, the tabbouleh. I didn't make my own pita bread. I'm sorry. We'll deal with that in a later episode. The last thing we need to do is cook our chicken. It's done marinating. I don't know if you've seen shawarma, but it's cooked on this like vertical spit and it spins around and it looks really cool, but as you saw by the ring light that was reflecting on the food processor earlier, I blew the show's budget this week on that. So I don't feel like spending $90 to buy this little spit that I'm probably only going to use one time. But I think I came up with something just as good, and it didn't cost me anything. Behold my shawarma cooker thing. I've got my bamboo skewers, a little bit of tin foil to keep them upright. I think that's just as good. So we gotta get the chicken on here. The oven's ready to go. We've got it at 350. I don't know how long it's gonna take to cook, but I'm gonna throw a temperature probe in there. Once it hits 165, we know we're good to go. Pull it out, carve it, put it together, and then we'll eat. That's it. So apparently that's all 1.5 pounds of chicken thighs gets you. I thought it would be a little more impressive. But it is what it is. Into the oven. Ugh, gross. Oh, my bracelet. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Because I'm the producer and the director.
I'll show the abuse I go through.
Yeah, I'm the star. It's like that video in Christian Bale screaming at everyone on the Terminator. Remember that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, it's funny. Not sponsored. Could be. Call me. This is the life. We're ready. Oh, that's hot. Oh. I don't think it looks bad, right? Like the top piece looks a little crispy, but this looks like what I thought it was going to, right? I think we're okay. I think we're ready to carve it. Let's see what we do. I probably should have let it rest for a little bit. I'm so hungry though. It's been... So, I cranked the heat up to 400 because this was going to take like 6 hours to cook. Even that, I think maybe 450 might have been the number. And it's cooked all the way through. But I'm so hungry I don't even want to let it rest. Sorry. Leave a comment and yell at me. Can we taste a piece? It tastes good. It tastes good. That's what we were going for. let's assemble. So assembly time, we're gonna go tzatziki, tabbouleh, and chicken. The internet told me that there needs to be other pieces of cut up cucumber and tomato. And then finally a little bit of our tahini. The ultimate test. How I can take a bite of this. Oh. Definitely tasted the tzatziki. I probably have so much stuff in my mustache and beard right now. It feels like I do. That's tzatziki, the tabbouleh, the chicken. You can smell the cinnamon. I'm gonna keep eating it. I think we call that a win. I didn't throw up. So there it is. Shawarma. Done. Mastered. Well, use that term loosely. But we did it. You can do it now too. I'm not going to patent the, the vertical roast thing, whatever you call it. You can keep that internet, YouTube world. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Lindsay, my camera woman. Thank you to my sister Lauren for the dill from her garden for the tzatziki. Thank you to my friend Aaron for the cherry tomatoes that we used for the tabbouleh. Again, thank you for watching. Listen to Now Boarding Radio if you want to vote on what I make next. Leave a comment on the video. Like, subscribe. What else do I have to say?
Comment.
Comment if you want. If you have any ideas for what you want me to cook next. Check me out on Instagram. If you want to learn more about me or the show or Now Boarding Radio, you can check out my show page on nowboardingradio.com. If I can figure out how to do it, all the links to all of that stuff are going to be underneath there. That's it. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.